Hola everyone, Ian here, and today I have another smaller coffee roastery, and I have Red Rooster's Raven Darker Roast. And I'll admit the packaging is what caught my eye on this one. You've got that stark white, surrounded by kind of that Edgar Allan Poe Raven in the center. And I also noticed it's roasted in a small town, Virginia. And being from a small town myself, I'm always drawn to supporting other small town businesses. And let's jump into their history. So, unfortunately, Red Rooster does not have much of a history on their website, which I am noticing as a pattern with these smaller kind of coffee roasters. Which, if any small coffee roasters are watching, please tell us who you are as a brand, and feel free to tell us what you value, what your values are. That allows us to kind of like engage with who you are as a brand and help separate you from everybody else. Uh, Getting off my soapbox, Red Rooster does have on the website that they were established in 2010 in small town Floyd, Virginia, population about 432. And Red Rooster was an existing coffee house which started roasting coffee for themselves, and now obviously they're starting to distribute. As of recording, they employ over 40 people. Now, when I did my digging outside of their website, I was able to find that the Red Rooster LLC was established in Floyd, Virginia in November of 2009, with the founder's name listed as Hayden Pulsano Hensley. And if I butchered that, Hayden, I apologize. And since, like I mentioned, I'm also from a small town, I figured I'll give you a little bonus. I'm going to give you a little history of Floyd, Virginia. Pre-colonization, Floyd area was actually used as hunting grounds by Native American tribes, including the Kenaway tribe. And in the late 1700s, waves of English, German, French, Scottish, and Irish immigrants settled into what would become Floyd County, which the current Floyd town is the county seat of. And interestingly enough, Floyd was not Floyd originally. It was incorporated in 1858 as Jacksonville after President Andrew Jackson, and then almost 40 years later, in 1896, the town's name was changed to Floyd, which is a name of a former governor of Virginia. So there you go. Couldn't find much on the company itself, so now you get to know a little bit about Floyd, Virginia, a town of less than 500 people. And considering it, I think it's close to Appalachia, so it's probably worth a visit if you're ever in that area. But enough about history. Let's take this Raven Darker Roast, this very white, not dark Dakotian mug. See what we get. my red Rooster Raven darker roast. And kind of mentioned a little bit when I was talking about it, before I talked about history earlier, I was really drawn to the packaging on this one. And when I did poke around on their website, there's a pattern that I noticed that I very much liked. All of their coffee roasts or blends all have like this white framing to make their designs pop out, which I very much enjoy. But the initial reason initial reason, if I can learn how to talk, I picked this one is, like I said, not strong, but like subtle, like Edgar Allan Poe vibes with the Raven and the coloring, kind of like this nice darker red with black inside on the sides. And I saw it was also made in a small town, so I thought if you're brewing the Raven in a small town, would that make it an Edgar Allan Poe dunk town? Anyway, the other thing I do like is they put a little of their small town charm on the packaging, because they even say on the back that obviously they're in a small town, and they even list their street address and encourage you to come visit their little cafe in their small town, which is pretty cool because ideally that brings people to come visit their small town and bring some tourism dollars, because it is easier for larger cities to attract tourists where small towns do have to try harder. So I do appreciate that. That tells me that they're invested in their community, which I'm always a big fan of. So enough about that. Let's dive into the coffee itself. It's a darker roast. I haven't reviewed too many of these yet, but I do like darker roasts, so that's already kind of a point in its favor. It has a great full body scent, and it does smell slightly of, it smelled stronger when it was brewing, but it smells slightly of like a dark chocolate, which it does say on the front that it has dark chocolate in it. Normally for eating, I don't really care for dark chocolate, but I do think it blends well with coffee. Hmm. Hmm. Well, all right. I'm just not very good at hiding facial expressions, so you probably know how this one's gone. The good news is this one is not an oof. I didn't hate it. Wasn't terrible. Didn't offend my taste buds. But as you could probably also tell from, well, everything, this one's not an oh yeah coffee. I was pretty stoked for this, and that might have actually almost ended up bumping into the oh yeah, just because I love the design and supporting small towns so much. But for the actual flavor profile of the coffee, there is some dark chocolate flavor there, but the coffee itself is very quite flavorless. So it's yeah, it's a slight hint of dark chocolate, pretty flavorless. So it gives me like a solid. It gives it a solid meh. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's perfectly in that center of meh, which is surprising for a smaller roaster coffee, smaller smaller batch coffee roaster who does have a lot of awards listed on the side of their packaging. So I'm a little bit surprised that this is that flavorless, but this could be maybe something that they've tried out and maybe they didn't like it. So that's that. Because I did notice on their website you also can't buy this anymore. I did look it up to, obviously have you guys encourage you guys to try it, but they did archive it. So maybe it was a limited run and it didn't pan out. That's the way she goes sometimes. But like I mentioned, unfortunately, you can't buy it anymore, but if you have some or if you tried some, feel free to let me know in the comments below if you disagree with me, if you agree with me, or if you're just curious for trying it out yourself. I mean, just for the theme of it alone, I would give it a try. Hopefully, if they like adjust the flavor profile, they bring it back. I would hate to look at the Raven and say never more. But in the meantime, you can always pick up your Decodian mugs from my website, which I will link below. And until next time, see you next time.